Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brock Beard from Nascar.info, and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots to talk about from that one. My goodness. Between NBC ignoring Brendan Gaughan's potentially final NASCAR start when he was standing right there, switching over to NBCSN so that a sizable portion of the population didn't see the finish of the race, and then having the yellow line rule become the little tripping post that completely fouled up what would have been a really interesting finish one way or the other in any other era since post-2001. That was a complete mess. And it's the same problem that has been a problem since 2001. I have said it before, and I will say it again. The yellow line rule was a well-meaning but completely misguided effort to increase safety at the super speedways. Dale Earnhardt Sr., God bless his soul, mentioned it in passing during the 2001 Speed Weeks and joking about there being an outside line, about there being an out-of-bounds line. And then suddenly, this just became the solution. And ever since the spring Talladega race that year, we have time and again had these problems. And it's been a problem not just for Regan Smith in 2008 or Johnny Sauter last year in the Truck Series race. You know, it's created more problems than it's caused. And even in the 2001 Daytona 500, all of these wrecks that happened, there were only 3 cautions that race when everybody could go everywhere on the track. Dale Earnhardt's wreck aside, that being extremely serious, even though Earnhardt's wreck started in the middle of the groove at the track there, it wasn't because of somebody going below the line and coming up into him. It was a misguided effort. It was a panic effort, a half measure that was created after Earnhardt's accident. As serious as it was, and many other things needed to be handled that time, it kind of covered up, in fact, a lot of the safety issues that the sport had ignored during the 2000 season. And it's been sitting there ever since for no purpose, and it has fouled up more finishes than it has ever helped. It has made racing more dangerous. It has made it more controversial, and it has created situations like this that there's no way this rule can survive this. This has to be the end. It has to be over. And it's not just a matter of underdogs or anything like that, okay? I'll admit my bias on that with Matt DiBenedetto, and of course the crowd was with him there as well. But it's the same situation we saw with Regan Smith in 2008. He goes below the line. He's driving for an underfunded team. He's not one of the championship contenders. And it was very easy for them to go ahead and hand Tony Stewart his first ever victory at Talladega. Whereas in the same situation here, you got a playoff contender, and Denny Hamlin gets the free pass, even though he also passed 3 cars at least coming off that last corner. That is ridiculous, and it's insane, and it needs to stop. Because NASCAR knows that these super speedways are the major draw for the sport. And every time that they do this with these rules, you know, anybody that's a casual outsider is going to wonder what the heck is going on. Why are they doing this? I can't imagine how confused people would be watching this finish there today. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know what Chase Elliott did to get blocked. None of the replays showed him actually go below the line in that, unless I missed it in the full-time thing. The last couple replays they showed from Keselowski's car, you know, maybe Chris Busch was forcing him down there, but that didn't actually happen. But, you know, maybe it did, or at some point it would have been great if they showed it. But again, whether it's the result of these remote broadcasts or something, we're just not getting the whole story. And this PR move that you already see from the broadcaster, we're like, well, you know, the interpretation of the rule, I guess that was correct. And everybody, you know, and everybody's just like, oh, well, Matt DiBenedetto didn't know what he was doing. He was too aggressive back there. He's trying to win his first race, as if he doesn't understand the rule as well as any of these other people, as if he wasn't in the same drivers' meeting these other drivers are. I'm sick of this. This is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. And NASCAR is creating a situation where they're making some of the best racing out there and some of the craziest stuff out there. And I certainly hope, you know, everybody that was involved in these races and all these crazy wrecks today is certainly okay. But a consistently entertaining race really up to that point. Just a disaster. I mean, you have multiple people flagged for this at the end, on top of Joey Logano's penalties earlier in the race, you know, and you create this point system at the same time that encourages aggressive driving. It's just ridiculous. Of course they're going to be throwing blocks. Of course they're going to be forcing people below the line. But you have to have that extra space in order to be able to allow people to get out of the way safely. Matt himself, in an earlier part of the race, was able to pull down to the inside and avoid a big wreck. There were a lot of wrecks that happened today, but but there were many more that could have very easily happened, and some of these could have been avoided if you actually didn't have the yellow line rule there. It's an outdated rule. It is more than run its course, and if you need any more evidence that it doesn't need to be there, this is the day that it is. I hate to come out this hard on it, but I have been hammering this for years. I mean, it's been decades of this, and they have absolutely fouled up these super speedway packages. They keep trying to change the package for this and that and everything else when one of the major problems is right there in front of them. If we can't trust these guys to go below the apron and actually, get out of the way of accidents or anything like that, then they don't deserve to be out there. We don't need any more of this. And saying that this rule is clear and concise, it is a judgment call. That is the exact opposite of a clear rule. That is the whole reason you get a situation like this, because now you have to, in a moment, dissect every little move and say, did this person intentionally put somebody down below the line? Or did this person intentionally, move a position around this? You can put this in front of a court and they're not going to be able to figure it out. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I just can't stand how many times this. I mean, my heart breaks for everybody involved in this. It's not fair to Matt DiBenedetto. It's not fair to Chase Elliott, and it's not fair, honestly, to Denny Hamlin, because now he's getting booed out there, and he's just racing like everybody else. So you got this whole situation, and NASCAR forces them in the back to do this, and it's just insane. It's just insane. And again, this effort, and you already see it from the broadcast booth there, where they're trying to turn it around and make it seem like, oh, well, this is just the way it goes. No, this is stupid. And if this rule keeps going and they're running it in the Daytona 500, they will have completely failed to learn from this. And I certainly hope that they learn from this. This was not a positive thing in any stretch of the imagination out there. They had a situation where you had a lot of unusual people up there. They managed to play it smart and get through a lot of these accidents. There was a lot of good racing where a lot of teams, in spite of having significant damage to their cars, managed to not actually cause a lot of wrecks. Unfortunately, somebody like Ryan Preece had significant damage to his car and ended up getting involved in a couple of accidents. He was up front for so long, it's surprising anything like that didn't happen earlier. I think there was a lot of good, hard racing out there, a good 30 laps that you had or so there before James Davison's tire problem or whatever debris was dropping on the track. You had a lot of good things that NASCAR could have just built on. But instead, the headline is going to once again be the yellow line. And everybody out there is going to try to go out there and say, oh, well, he just violated the rule, and so therefore it doesn't count or whatever. But insane. I'm sick of this. This is stupid. And they are ruining some of the best races out there. And, in a year that started off with so much controversy over safety and everything at the same time back at Daytona, I can't believe that they're still not changing the things that need changing. We hear so much of the narrative this year that NASCAR needs to change in this abstract sense, and yet they keep outdated stuff like this yellow line rule in there. They don't do anything with it. So what really are we trying to accomplish here? Just bad. I feel bad. I hate seeing. And it's made worse because the people that were involved in this are a couple of the most popular drivers in the sport. So you got that problem. You gave anger the Chase Elliott fans, and of course Matt DiBenedetto's growing fan base there too. We haven't even talked about Bubba Wallace and everything that he is dealing with before that too. And great run by him earlier today too. So it's absurd. It's absurd. And a lot of people are going to try to soft pedal this and just be like, oh well, it was just an inexperienced driver. It was just chaos and just whatever. But if this rule keeps going, I mean, it's just wrong. It's just incorrect. And I don't know what it's going to take, if not this set of circumstances, for that to change. So seriously doubt they're going to change anything on that this week. It's certainly something that maybe they'll talk about in a couple of meetings between now and February. And we'll see where that shakes out. But it's unfortunate that you have a situation from all of this here and setting this up, and there's just no halfway about it. It's been a problem since 2001. It's been completely ignored and just left on the back burner, which NASCAR has an unfortunate and sad history of doing. And there's been so many accidents that have been caused by somebody trying to merge back up into traffic on the yellow line just because they don't want to be passing somebody. I'm not saying that restrictor plate racing or racing itself was perfectly safe before it, far from it, but it didn't make things any better. And that was supposed to be the intent of the rule. And now they have, it's just a PR disaster. So now you got that problem to deal with on top of it. So, yeah, so this is a whole thing. I haven't even been looking at the chat. I'm just faunching and fuming. I'm sure I'm too red in the face here from all of that, but have to get that out right from the start. So I guess we could talk about what else has happened on this in between her number of cautions and everything else. Did you know, would you have known if it weren't for this broadcast that Brendan Gaughan was apparently making his last ever NASCAR start today? I don't think you probably would have. And in slipshod coverage where, you know, I know more about that one pit crew member that they did their little segment on, or, you know, things of that nature. And I've got a good litany of some of the other commercials and stuff that have popped up during the broadcast. But I was amazed that they didn't seem to do anything with that story in this. Now, it's possible he'll come back in February and run some more races. I certainly hope he does, because, you know, not enough was made out of that moment. I mean, the cruel poetry of the image there, that, I mean, he didn't have a great car out there today and was having a lot of bad luck with it. But then him riding around and just clearing almost that wreck, and then Kyle Busch sliding in the front of it, I didn't notice that till like the 5th or 6th different replay. They could have really played that up. I mean, if this at the same time, but, you know, instead, oh, let's just play more replays of these accidents and stuff. And yeah, the accidents were spectacular. Of course, Kurt Busch's and everything. And it was good to see him walking around and joking about getting to his golf cart afterwards and everything. But just a big missed opportunity on that. How many more stories are they going to just let leak through? Gotta say, you know, really, this is another problem that they just really need to have more people, you know, more broadcasters and more people work in the media center again. You know, I'm sure there's some kind of way they can work around the current regulations from one place to the next, and you know, make this work, because stories get slipped by. How many stories have we missed since May because of all of this other stuff? I mean, you can't work out temperature checks and face mask regulations or whatever they need to do. When you keep a lot of people out of it, you know, you get all kinds of bad situations there. We've seen a lot of examples of that this year, and this, I think, was just the latest one on that. So I hate it for Brendan Gaughan. I'm glad. I applaud MRN for jumping on it and making sure that they talked to him afterwards. I didn't listen to the radio version of it, but I certainly would be interested to hear it. I don't know if it's going to get out any, but I hope certainly that Brendan's going to make some more starts in that 62 car, if nothing else, so we can actually talk more about him and the career he's had, and everything like that. So, yeah, just insane, just insane. There was a lot, you know, and it was unfortunate again, because for a lot of the race, in spite of the number of accidents and just ridiculous stuff that was going on, had a lot of good racing in the closing stages there, and to have it just fouled up by that rule is just inexcusable. So, you know, that's kind of the whole situation with that. But this overlooks, you know, a lot of other details here. I mean, looking again at the lineups here, Ty Dillon in the 3rd spot. Great run for the Germain Racing team. So close to winning their first Cup race and their 420th combined starts. That's including not just the starts for the 13, but also the number 60, the second car out of that team. There, you know, great effort for them. Would have been good to see if they could pull it off, but they were certainly a factor there. The finish of the race, trying to shake it out. Ryan Newman, 5th place, following up the runner-up run to Ryan Blaney there last year. Chris Buescher had a great run, just like he did at Las Vegas. Somehow the 17 team has just really just kind of picked up the pace here these last couple of weeks. Tyler Reddick with the damage at the beginning in the 7th spot, making up for the bit of a brain fart that he had in the summer race at Daytona. It ended up causing a lot of accidents. John Hunter Nemechek, we saw him up there. Factor in the June race at Talladega, ended up getting blocked by Blaney and wrecked along with Eric Jones. Jones getting the 2nd spot, Nemechek getting 8th unofficially. Brennan Poole in the 9th spot there. Impressive run by him. Tweeted a couple times about it. He actually did run over a big piece of debris on the apron during the Clint Boyer accident and managed to actually stay in the draft pretty well in spite of that significant damage. Great run for him. I think that's got to be a career best for him, if not certainly close to it. Ryan Preece in the 10th spot. I know he was involved in a couple of accidents, a couple of them with Bubba Wallace in particular. It was an unfortunate deal there, but given how much bad luck he's had this year and how often he's been featured on the NASCAR site, certainly good to see things turn around there. Austin Dillon, never say die effort by Richard Childress' team, much like Reddick. Dillon getting both of his laps back, finishing in the 12th spot. Quinn Howell, another feature that we always talk about. 13th place has to be a career best for him. The 00 team, Derek Cope and the Starcom team got to be ecstatic about that. Timmy Hill, driving what was a Go Fast Racing Ford in the number 66 car, follows up a 14th place finish in the Xfinity race with a 15th place finish in the Cup Series race, again, unofficially, pending the results of this. Certainly a good turnaround, especially after Go Fast's primary car, the number 32, had electrical problems at the beginning of the race. Joey Gase, 17th spot. Another great run for him, a team that's often really, criticized, especially with Gase behind the wheel, of just losing laps in the early stages. We very nearly saw Cody Ware in the battle there, running as high as the 5th spot out there. Particular shout out to him. That's a guy that, he really has been working as hard as he can to help out his family's operation. It's the first time that he's been running in the Cup Series since August at Michigan last year. Wasn't even entered in this race until midweek. JJ Yeley was supposed to be in that car. That Thrive sponsorship is one of Yeley's. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes there. But Ware gets in that car, runs as high as the top 5, ends up, even after the wreck on the backstretch, he still gets a 19th place finish. It's unfortunate they have a tore up car, but has to be happy still with, the way that they performed and the way they were able to survive through a lot of the incidents out there. So great run for him. But unofficially, again, Matt DiBenedetto and Chase Elliott classified as the last 2 cars on the lead lap, classified in 21st and 22nd, respectively. In an unfortunate situation there. Also bringing up the issue with a lack of practice and qualifying. I stand by the issue that they had in the Talladega race today, where Christopher Bell had that problem at the beginning of the race with a couple of flat tires, and he doesn't know exactly what happened. And apparently the rear track bar was bent into a U shape. They couldn't fix it, and they're just done for the day. How many of these problems could have been figured out if they went through tech inspection or ran a couple practice laps and it didn't feel right, especially at a super speedway? You're just asking for all kinds of trouble there. Same thing with the Corey LaJoie situation mentioned earlier with the electrical issue. These are issues that maybe aren't going to affect a larger team out there, because they're going to be in a situation that they're going to be able to overcome it as best they can, just making a couple adjustments but still stay on the lead lap. These other guys, they're either going to, crash out, or they're going to lose multiple laps going to the garage area for mechanical problems. And then right there, somebody like Corey LaJoie, if he didn't have that issue, he would have run a lot better than the 28th spot that he did 12 laps down in this race. Maybe he would have been up there and been able to be a factor, just like Timmy Hill was in the 66 car. Unfortunately, we're not going to know that. So it's a difficult situation. And it's really sad for Christopher Bell in the last place spot, too. This is the last year that the Levine family team is going to be around. Again, another part of that equation that's factoring into the Michael Jordan team next year. As exciting as that is, there's some teams that are just really going to be just not existing anymore. And the 95 teams had some great runs on the plate tracks. Christopher was great last week at Las Vegas, and again at New Hampshire before that. Unfortunately, had some bad luck that kept it from having the finish showing exactly where he would have finished in that case. But yeah, he ends up just turning 1 lap, the fewest since 2011 at Talladega. And, that's just the end of it for them. And who knows if they're going to be able to pull off a victory here at the end. The odds aren't really very favorable when you're going against these playoff guys, but we'll see what happens. But just a heartbreak there. Also, particular shout out to Daniel Suarez. I was very impressed with how well he was doing about the halfway point in the Gaunt brothers car. Had some runs where he was actually pulling the line up there on the outside line and getting up there. I was very pleased to see the 96 team do as well as they have probably ever in their performance. Unfortunately, gets collected in one of those big accidents and takes the 34th spot. An unfortunate situation with Jimmy Johnson and Clint Boyer. I know a lot of fingers pointing at Boyer in that accident. I think it seemed like from those last couple of replays that there was that panel up to Benedetto's car that was on Johnson's car, and he was trying to wiggle around to get that off. It looked like it just came off right before his last kind of zigzag there. And, again, we've seen this a lot, again, with Ryan Preece and Bubba Wallace, for example. The bumpers just don't line up, and then, it just turns real bad real quickly. And especially at the exit of the trioval, there's just nowhere to go. You're just looking straight ahead, and somebody spins up right in front of you. One of the worst spots at Talladega to have a wreck. That and the interest of turn 3, I think, would be right up there. When it's going to be a wreck, it's going to be something big. Unfortunate for Michael McDowell as well. I know it's frustrating that he has one of the worst average finishes at Talladega, because truth be told, he's one of the best super speedway guys out there to not have a win on one of them. His 5th place finish in the Daytona 500, great run in the July race at Daytona comes immediately to mind. Just occurred to me, I didn't even use my peripheral mic here, so I apologize. It's not the same audio quality from last week. But Yeah, an unfortunate turn of events for them there too. Kyle Busch, I'm seeing the mention in the comments too. Absolutely, mentioning the Never Say Die effort for Richard Childress Racing. Very impressed by Kyle Busch, saying very cool and and composed in spite of the situation where his car hopped off the ground. I'm sure it did serious damage to the suspension, and then the tire failure there, and still being able to run very close to the finish of the race and getting a much better finish than he could have. You know, you think about Kyle Larson's effort in the Roval and just bouncing off the walls, just trying to get to the finish line. Every position matters. And in the 27th spot here that he got today, we'll see if that's going to be the difference for the next round. Although the gap, unfortunately, is basically going to be about the same because you have pretty much the same 4 drivers and below the cut line that we had before the race. Have to mention Aric Almirola in the same breath. Seemed like he was going to be well on his way to a stage victory. Gets taken out in an accident with Alex Bowman. Bowman was having a great run as well. Looked to be making sure he could assure himself of a spot the next round there. Instead, both of them get tangled up. Bowman does a good job recovering, but Almirola has to climb out of the car on pit road. And haven't talked about Bubba Wallace there. Again, great run that he had out there. I will admit I didn't think about him being as much of a factor in this race because it seems like he's a little bit better at Daytona. We saw that in August. We saw that in the 500 and the duels not long ago. Great run that he had out there. As disappointing as I'm sure that is for him, I know that's something that they can build off of and get something going there. I think that was a very good run, and I think from the interview that he gave, I think he knew that as well. So I think that there's a lot to be excited about going forward, especially since the next plate race is going to be at the Daytona 500 next year, which is still going to have these cars since the next gen car is going to be delayed on that. Yeah, absolutely crazy. I mean, how could you even say like who the best car even was in this? I mean, it's even hard to discern. I think that's where the frustration really peaks in the whole YellaLine issue. We really did have a situation where, you know, yeah, you had some of these wrecks, but some of these wrecks didn't collect as many cars as maybe a few years ago. You know, NASCAR just posted that 2001 Talladega finish where, yes, it was on the last lap, but you had a wreck that basically collected about 20 cars. Today's biggest one, I think the Boyer and Johnson one seemed to get maybe half that at most. And so you still had a decent field of guys left. I mean, it was pretty tattered, and of course, a lot of people with damage, but a lot of people still on the lead lap or getting back on the lead lap. You know, great effort for them to certainly do that as well. Goodness, 92 people in here. All right, well, certainly some new people on board. It's usually not this fiery coming out the gate, but this is definitely more to talk about here through this. Mentioned Kurt Busch's accident. I mean, scary stuff there. I mean, it was good to see him walking around in the infield. Joey Logano was throwing all kinds of blocks out there. I know I've been critical about Chase Elliott in the past for that same thing, but I think Logano, certainly these last couple of weeks, has asserted himself as being the most aggressive when it comes to these blocks, even more than Keselowski or Truex in this sense. He was absolutely just cutting off there. It was amazing that he didn't have as much of an issue until the late laps. It really looked like Kevin Harvick was going to kind of make something happen at the end there because he and Chase Elliott were working off the same playbook of kind of running towards the back, which has had mixed results. I remember Dale Jarrett and Bobby Labonte trying that several times, and it just not shaking out one way or the other. Unfortunately ends up getting collected in one of these accidents and gets the 20th spot, still classified again unofficially ahead of both DiBenedetto and Elliott. But yes, unofficially again, Hamlin your winner. Eric Jones in the second spot. The margin of victory now between Hamlin and Jones is credited as 86 thousandths of a second, so a wider margin of victory than the original margin of victory between Hamlin and DiBenedetto, of course. So a different scenario there. So lots to certainly talk about from that. Going to be interesting to find out in that situation. But yeah, we'll see what happens when we get down to the next. When we get to the technical inspection results later today. That certainly became an issue in the Saturday race with Michael Annett. I'm halfway through writing an article on. Gosh, who was it? There was the Colby Howard when he had the wreck there, and then all of a sudden, you know, this word starts breaking, and kudos to Dale Unbar for breaking the story there ahead of a lot of people, really surprisingly. I know he kind of jokes around a lot online, so I was surprised that it was something that turned out to be kind of a bigger story than it turned out to be. But absolutely, Michael Annett ending up being classified last in the Xfinity race, and some good runs in there too, kind of bleed into this as well. Justin Haley, we saw him briefly a little bit in the Cup race today in the 77 team. Wasn't able to capitalize as much on some of these wrecks here, but apparently had a decent enough finish. Where was he classified there? I'm going to say that, and then, oh, yep, 11th spot. Fantastic run for the Spire team. First start in a points race for Haley since the July race at Daytona. He won that was rain delayed. I know he ran the All-Star race earlier this year. Didn't have much of a shot at that one. But, yeah, great run for the Spire team as well. And, of course, winning the Saturday race ahead of Ryan Sieg, who had another great points day. Looks like he's going to kind of try to move on as best he can to the next round. We'll find out how that all shakes out. Very impressed by Josh Williams. I thought he did a great job on the inside. Mario Gosselin team, I think that was the best we've seen all three of the teams run in the same race, at least in a while. It was Cesar Baccarella and Alex LeBay at the same time. We mentioned Motorsports Business Management with Timmy Hill, the 14th place finish there. Fincham doing even better. Chad Fincham getting the 11th spot. Great bounce back from the last place run at Las Vegas last week. They had the mechanical issues. Tommy Joe Martins gets another 15th place finish. He seems to be cranking those out a little bit more often here. The Mike Harmon Racing teammates nose to tail again, 16th and 17th this time with Joe Nemechek and Mike Harmon. Josh Bilicki gets a top 20 in the BJ McLeod effort. Vinnie Miller comes up from the back of the field and get 22nd. Myatt Snyder looked like he was going to have a good run going. Unfortunately, got in one of those mini wrecks there towards the end of it. But again, yeah, Colby Howard, unofficially your last place finisher at the beginning of it until Michael Annette's car failed post-race heights, classified last in that one. The article for both that race and the Truck Series race is already on the LastCar.info website. You can certainly check out the articles there. The article for the Cup race, of course, today will come up a little bit later, pending the results of technical inspection. Ryan Vargas is unfortunate that his TikTok car had some problems there. It looks like listed it was suspension problems, even though he had a lot of crash damage there from one of those incidents there and pulled behind the wall. It's good to see new sponsors coming into the sport. It's unfortunate it had the first race. I don't remember if it's a multiple race deal. Hopefully it is. Ryan certainly works hard to promote his brands. Cody Vanderwaal at the same blush here, running the A1 Performance Warehouse Chevrolet for Jimmy Means Racing. Great job by that team. They lost multiple laps in the opening stages of that, got back out there, climbed up to 28th from the 37th spot. Much like we saw with Mason Massey earlier this year at Bristol, the number 99 car. I love it when a team does that, where they just go out there and maybe they don't have to practice to fix the car up, but then they take the time to do that and get back up there. That was kind of lost also what happened in today's race too with James Davison. They were probably out of that race for about half the distance, and it sounded like they had given up on replacing the rear gear. Apparently, we're able to piece one together again, get that car back out there, and finished ahead of some other guys. Unfortunately, had that same caution come out at the end with some debris coming off his car. But again, a better finish than they would have had. I believe they climbed out at the bottom 5, it looked like, at the end of that when everything was said and done. Indeed, the 30th spot there for him. So, yeah, outside of the 39-car field. So a good turnaround on that. Looking at the Xfinity Series field again, making sure other ones to talk about. Garrett Smithley. I will admit, when I was first writing the Intralist story, I was stunned that Greg Galding wasn't in the 07 or at least one SS Green Light car, given how well he'd run at both Talladega and Daytona earlier this year. And I love Garrett. Garrett's a great guy. I've had a chance to speak to him a couple times there. He made a believer out of me. I'll tell you what, that 8th place finish there in that 07, great job for him out there. Real hard-working kid out there trying to get the best run that he can. Unfortunately not on the JD Motorsports thing anymore. He's kind of a journeyman between the different series, which has become kind of a more common thing that we've seen in the series these days. But a good 8th place finish there for him on that. Daniel Hemrick, I thought, had an outside chance of getting his first win. Unfortunately, didn't happen. But like Sieg, had a good day on that, even though Hemrick's not a championship contender there at the same blush there. Heartbreak for Austin Cendrick. He seemed like he had the right strategy there. Ended up having problems there at the end, dropping him out. The 34th place. A lot of those wrecks coming onto pit road. Those green flag pit stops on these super speedways can be really treacherous. You think about that even just years ago with that. It's been absolutely ridiculous sometimes. But Justin Haley, again, asserting himself as one of the best super speedway drivers in any of the top 3 series now. And his 11th place finish on Sunday in the equipment that Spire Motorsports has, again, asserting that they're able to even capitalize in massive races of attrition at the same time. Hopefully he gets some more opportunities to run Cup and we can see what he can do at some of these other tracks. I know one of the lesser discussed races that he had last year with Spire was actually at the Sears Point Raceway. He was driving the Formula One imports car and ran a bit further back. You know, interesting to see him out there and competing as often as he could. Very much on the same blush here, talking about the Talladega race at for the Truck Series. Cody Vanderwaal, just Jordan Anderson, proving that their top 5 finishes at Daytona were no fluke, finishing in the 5th and 6th spots respectively. Vanderwaal ahead of Anderson, great runs there, especially for Anderson after Dawson Cram was involved in a vicious accident at the beginning. And the number 41 truck that totaled one of Anderson's trucks, with a small team there, certainly can't afford to tear up too much equipment. I certainly hope Cram is doing okay from the wreck. I didn't hear any reports one way or the other on that, but that was certainly a hard hit that he had to the outside wall and then getting struck by Joe Nemechek's truck on the apron. Spencer Boyd going from the first place finisher, the winner, ironically, from a yellow line rule situation at Talladega last year, which was also a ridiculous situation, even if it was a situation that allowed for a first-time winner to come about. Spencer Boyd being classified last in this one because of the accident after Joe Nemechek was able to drive his truck to pit road, but Boyd was unable to. Difficult situation there for him. One thing is interesting in that, I thought that he has one last place finish in each of NASCAR's top 3 series at Talladega, including his first ever in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series. His first in the Cup Series, I believe, was in Michigan. He does have a last place finish in all 3 of the series, and that ended up being kind of a big theme in that article this week, this time around. Todd Gilliland, heartbreak for him, along with Zane Smith. Getting in those accidents. I think Dillon got knocked out of the playoffs, but Smith with a win there certainly helps his chances for the playoffs going forward. Kaz Gralla, great relief driver role for Natalie Decker. Certainly hoping that she's doing well. I haven't heard a whole lot of updates on that since she wasn't medically cleared at Las Vegas. I'm sure information is still coming together on that. But Gralla in the 9th spot, rekindling memories of his relief driver role for Austin Dillon at the Daytona Infield Road Course in the Cup Series. Proving that he's just very surprising in these situations where he's not given a lot of preparation. You think again back to his old Xfinity rides with the Fury Race Cars LLC team before that place folded up. But very pleased with Trevor Baynes running that. It seemed like before today that was going to be the big controversy, whether Rafael Lessard or Bayne was leading at the moment of caution. The FS1 cameras seem to be going out of their way to not show us the moment of caution and who was leading. But apparently, according to them, it was Lessard that won the race, but kudos to him, not to take away from that. First-time winner out there. Very surprised that Lessard was able to pull his first victory before Christian Eckes, who again finds himself on the wrong end of bad luck again in the race there and dropping further back in the lineup. Eckes shown in the 18th spot with Lessard the winner. But good to see Trevor Bayne excited again, especially after his disqualification after having such a great run at Bristol at his home track, coming back from the 25th spot to finish second in the Truck Series race. I thought that was very exciting to see here at the same time. Hey there, Yo-Yo. Welcome aboard. We got a lot. Wow, we got a lot of people here still. Still got 83 people in here. Goodness. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in here. Just recovering from the Talladega deal, or the latest disaster at Talladega from one way or the other. But we'll find out what we have and everything coming up here. So I'm just kind of browsing you guys' comments here, making sure I didn't miss anything too much on here. Again, yeah, great runs for a lot of these different teams. Oh, goodness. Goes to Saltwater. Thank you so much for the super chats. Let me make sure I read yours here again. Goes to Saltwater. I don't know. I must have been in full throat at this point here. I will rise from the depths of Chesapeake and drag those worthless pieces of F in race control into the briny remains of Hampton Roads. Well, that's some passionate rhetoric there, man, but they will be force-fed broken clamshells and barnacles for these egregious crimes. Well, I hope it hadn't quite reached that moment there, but those are your words, not mine, buddy. But it's, you know, I think just getting rid of the rule would be sufficient, and we can maybe go on from that standpoint. But again, thank you so much for the super chats one way or the other. One other thing I'm working on this weekend is getting caught up here on some of the stuff for the Livestream. I got some diecast I got to mail out for the members on there. If you're interested in some other content on that, again, for those of you new, I know we still got 74 people in here. Definitely check out patreon.com/LascarOnBrock, as well as the other content here on this channel. Got definitely plenty of stuff here to fill your YouTube playlist for a little while here. in the meantime. So, yeah, we'll find out if we get any kind of results from technical inspection. I'm not holding my breath on that, especially with a playoff contender in there. I think they have quite enough drama in store for the race at the Roval next week. Although basically the bottom four really need to win the race in order to do it. But it'll be very interesting to see what spin is going to be made on what took place this afternoon. Whether the focus is going to be more on the wrecks or the controversy at the end. NASCAR is no stranger to both, especially on the super speedways, and that's going to be the situation moving forward from here. But I mean, there's still some good to certainly talk about. A lot of small teams got some good runs, even if the cameras weren't really watching. And you know, it was just kind of one of those kind of races there. I'm noticing, yeah, the shirt is blending a little too well into the chair, but color blindness here has its disadvantages, certainly. Goodness. Let's see here. But we'll find out what was going on here. I think one way or the other, Matt DiBenedetto is going to certainly gain a whole lot of fans from this if he hadn't already. I was very encouraged the chants from the crowd there too. I mean, even if it was just 1% of the crowd, that would be a full capacity crowd. I think it's still interesting to certainly see the situation from there. But that's basically the review from the top 3 series. We'll do a little bit of trivia here too as things cool down. Oh man, my my Twitter things are getting blown up here a little bit. I guess we'll have some more situations like this. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, when I was a kid, I thought the biggest thing was the situation where Ricky Rudd got black flagged for spinning out Davey Allison when Watto Wilson said that you could spin out the 28 car with your hand in the middle of turn 11, which is pretty true given how slow those cars are at that part of the track. But you know, different different situation now. NASCAR has really outdone themselves and put themselves in quite the little box here. And we're going to be very interested to see how or if they fight their way out of it in these next few days. And, well, we're just going to see. But I guess it's good that we don't have any more super speedway races this year. And I'm sure next week's race at the Roval is going to go just smoothly, whether it's rain or not. And, well, at least I guess the broadcast crew isn't going to have to travel very far since they've been doing these remotely from Charlotte for the last few weeks at the same time. Yeah, so that's kind of the situation there. So for those of you new here, we usually do trivia at this point when things kind of calm down a little bit. If you have any other questions here on the races this weekend, anything that I haven't talked about, we'll certainly jump into that. Wow, I really went through that quick. We're only 40 minutes into this. I thought it was about an hour at least. Okay, well, we'll do some trivia here at the same time. I think I'm just full bore here at the same time, and we'll find out what goes from here. And we'll see the situation. So let me go ahead and pull this up. I got to get the thing out of the bag. I have a little bag of tricks over here and make sure that we got the trivia thing. If not, we'll hustle that up as best as possible. There it is. Bingo. All right. And we'll do a little bit of trivia here as the show winds down. I think after however many hours of that race and however many more minutes of me ranting on here, I probably want a little bit of variety here. And so we'll do that certainly for those of you new on here. We do, again, the Trivial Pursuits things just for fun. You can feel free to chime in your answers here in the chat there. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I'm very floored, quite honestly, at how many people are in here, but I guess everybody's I know you have many options when it comes to post-race live chats and everything, and I appreciate you spending some time with me and listening to me blow out this microphone on this little camera here in the meantime. So we'll do a little bit of, hang on, we'll do some questions here, and we'll start off with categories here. Whichever category you want to do, go ahead and get your comments in here, and we'll pick that one. The categories are NASCAR, pits, teams, tracks, drivers, and the wild card. These are, again, the categories here. Again, NASCAR, pits, teams, tracks, drivers, and the wild card. So go ahead and get those votes in here. Again, sorry I don't have the other microphone on here. You guys, you can tell at the start of this, I'm sure, I couldn't jump on this camera quick enough after that race played out exactly the way that it did. And hopefully for future shows, we'll have a little bit better audio quality for you. We're continuing to put in some efforts here to kind of improve that. going forward. I think we did NASCAR last week. We had some good ones on that. But don't let me sway you. We got some good questions in all the categories here. And I don't think we've quite plumbed the depths of this thing so far, so we'll find out. Oh, yeah, Code Red. That's the official beverage of lastcar.info. They are not paying me anything for that yet, but we'll see. That's certainly hard to find, though, I got to say. I think with a lot of these production shortages, it's kind of hard to grab that there. But you mix that together with a ridiculous finish, and you're going to get some high throttle or open full throttle hot takes here on the outcome of this. And whether or not you're going to get that from one channel or the other, I guess that's what we're going to find out. Okay, what we got here? We got, let's see, wildcard drivers. 2, 3 for tracks. All righty. And let's see, wild card. Okay, I'm seeing a good amount of wild card ones. Maybe we'll jump back into that and we'll do this here. I appreciate the calls for sponsorship there. So far, that's why I wanted to make sure I upgraded the whole Patreon graphic at the end of my videos, so it shows like actual logos on a car. I think that captures the sensation of that for the way that it works here, because yeah, we're definitely a small organization here, and definitely appreciate any support you guys have on that, especially in these times. And on the Patreon, really working on getting you guys some good content to go there with that as well. Again, patreon.com/LastCarOnBrock. Okay, we're gonna do some wildcard questions here. First question of the evening, and let's see if this is gonna be a question about rules. I certainly hope it is. What type of racing did Richard Petty devote most of the year 1965 to? What type of racing did Richard Petty devote most of the year 1965 to? All righty. Actually, I'm seeing a decent amount of tracks one. Maybe we'll do some tracks questions too. We'll shake that up. Alrighty, in drag racing, I'm seeing a lot of comments for drag racing, and the answer is indeed drag racing. There you go. Right off the bat. Alrighty, here we go. Championship question. Who did Dale Earnhardt beat by 19 points to win his first championship? Who did Dale Earnhardt beat by 19 points to win his first championship? That is our next question. Don't look it up. Just try to guess it. No such thing as a bad guess, that's for sure. Who did Dale Earnhardt beat by 19 points? Who did Dale Earnhardt beat by 19 points to win his first championship? I see you there, Yo-Yo. I got you. Absolutely. Keeping that in mind. Who did Dale Earnhardt beat by 19 points to win his first championship? And the answer is Cale Yarborough. Cale Yarborough is indeed the correct answer. Easy. You were first on the button there. It looks like Justin, you were right after it too. And there you go. Nathaniel Ivey, Christian Bloodsworth. There you go. Ricky Stenhouse. Yeah, that would be fun. You never know. Time traveling Ricky Stenhouse. Alrighty. Who was the first NASCAR Winston Cup driver to fly in an F-16 fighter plane? Who was the first NASCAR Winston Cup driver to fly in an F-16 fighter plane? The first NASCAR Winston Cup driver to fly in an F-16 fighter plane. Andrea Valasevsky? I don't think so. Ghost of Saltwater. You're close. You're very close. Who was the first NASCAR Winston Cup driver to fly in an F-16 fighter plane? By the way, I understand I mispronounced the name of the town of Islip in the first episode of the Field Fillers thing. Yeah, I'm West Coast. I'm not familiar with a lot of New York State names. It seemed like there would be 3 pronunciations at most between Islip, Islip, and Eslip. When I was corrected, I thought I was supposed to say Eslip. So I was a little surprised to see Islip. So I guess it's pronounced like island, but there you go. Who was the first NASCAR Winston Cup driver to fly in an F-16 fighter plane? And the answer is Rusty Wallace. Rusty Wallace is the correct answer. Rusty Wallace. Wow, yeah. Bill Elliott. It seemed like Bill Elliott would be the right answer. Rusty Wallace is the correct answer. So 8206. I think you were first on the button on that one. Rusty Wallace. Didn't quite get Shauna Robinson confirmation. There you go. Yeah, I did not know that. I was thinking the people that picked Bill Elliott were going to be right. That was surprising to me. Yeah, Rusty Wallace is the correct answer. Okay. Who was the first NASCAR Winston Cup champ to be honored in New York City? Who was the first NASCAR Winston Cup champ to be honored in New York City? Who was the first NASCAR Winston Cup champ to be honored in New York City? All right, we got guesses for Gordon, DW, Bobby Allison, Sr., DW, Bobby Allison, Richard Petty, 24, Kowicki. Several good guesses. With the answer, only one correct answer, and the correct answer is Darrell Waltrip. I haven't shown it on the screen here. Yeah, Darrell Waltrip, indeed. The correct answer. Easy, you were right on the button there once again. There you go. Maserati 9, Dustin DeBoer. I was like, you got it as well. Ultimate 23 Dragon. How much would someone have to give you to jump through a table on stream after a Bills win? I don't know, man. It'd be the same person that would put some cushioning on it, I think, before it fell on the table. But I'll tell you what, man, I think they got a good squad, and hopefully they can turn things around. And especially with the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, I feel even more affirmed in following the Bills a lot more. We'll see how that goes. I'm really enjoying Urinating Trees videos on the football reviews, by the way. I haven't been able to watch as many games, but I'm really enjoying his videos on that. So that'll be the one to do. Optimus Prime 2471, you raise a good point where, yeah, I mean, if they would allow it until the final lap on the yellow line, there's still problems with that. You're gonna have problems with it with 2 laps to go. An out and out, just getting rid of it is better. Again, we talked about half measures last week with the during our schedule stream, and compromising when it's clear that one option is what they need to do and they feel like they can't make the decision. That's an unfortunate trend, and I think that's where they need to just step up and say, okay, you know, the rule's gone far enough. Let's try it the other way. So you certainly can't say that you're preventing accidents when you have 13 cautions, nobody's car with any fenders on it, and Kurt Busch's car flying through the air because the yellow line rule is making things safer. It's stupid, but we're going to try to figure out if that happens. Not hold my breath that's going to happen anytime soon. They'll just very quietly slip it through like the Baltimore Colts here. So we're going to find out. Alrighty. What sanctioning body did Darrell Waltrip get his first major stock car victory with? It's not that they can't, it's that they won't. Well, yeah, that's true. How are you a Bills fan? Because you're on the West Coast. I ended up becoming more of a Bills fan. I didn't start off that way. I really enjoyed the Raiders growing up, but you know, it's, you know, I didn't really understand a lot of football history, and when I started watching those America's Games ones, especially the Missing Rings series, which is fascinating. It covers like all these championships that were close: the 90 Bills, the 88 Bengals, the 81 Chargers. Once I started watching those, I'm like, man, the Bills sound more like my kind of team. So I have a running thing with Last Pro that's off camera here, where the two of us think that I think the Bills will win the Super Bowl first. He thinks that the Vikings will. I think I got a better lead in there, even though it's the AFC and even though it's the same division as the Patriots. I think the Bills can do it first, but we'll find out. So obviously he's the Kirk Cousins fan over there on that side of the room, but that'll be the one there. Oh yeah, the question. Let's see. What sanctioning body did Darrell Waltrip get his first major stock car victory with? And the answer is USAC. USAC is the correct answer. Yeah, I think a lot of you guessed ARCA. It seemed like that was going to be right. ARCA, Chevy, ASA, Mark. I don't think anybody had it. Yeah, USAC. Jonathan Green, right on it. You're on the button there. The International Federation of Flintstones. That's good. I like that. That's good. Yeah, USAC. There you go. Yeah, how about that? Alrighty. Here we go. Here's a safety question. What decade did NASCAR Winston Cup drivers first slip into fire suits? What decade did NASCAR Winston Cup drivers first slip into fire suits? Yeah, USAC was the right answer. What did you thought? What decade? Yeah, we're not looking for a specific year. Did NASCAR Winston Cup drivers first slip into fire suits? All right. We got 60s, 70s, 60s. It sounds like 60s. That does sound right, especially the Fireball Roberts accident and some of the others. What decade did NASCAR Winston Cup drivers first slip into fire suits? And the answer is indeed the 60s. Correct. Correct. You got it. There you go. All righty. Excellent. Thank you again for those of you new on board. I hope you're enjoying this. This is what we usually do. Again, to wrap up this, doing just some trivia to wrap up on Talladega. If you have any other questions on the racing from this weekend, we talked about the new schedule changes, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday. So we've had some midweek streams, but our regular scheduled ones are about as close to the finish of the race as possible. And this one a bit closer than usual. And we'll certainly look to that in the future. All righty, next question here. What driver had an impressive 91 top 10 finishes in 188 Winston Cup starts? What driver had an impressive 91 top 10 finishes in 188 Winston Cup starts? 91 top 10s in 188 Cup starts, Cup Series. That'll be our next one. James Harvey Hilton, Rick Mast, Rusty Wallace, David Pearson, Donnie Allison, Herb Thomas, Mario Andretti, Martin Urkenseth, Dick Brooks. So lots of good guesses. What driver had an impressive 91 top 10 finishes in 188 Winston? I think it's Davey Allison. And the answer is Davey Allison. There you go. Right on. Davey Allison. I think somebody had that. I don't think I was the only one. Somebody had Donnie Allison. Tim Richmond. I think we had this question before, so I think that's probably where I remembered it from. Yeah, Davey Allison. So how about that? Matt Kenseth, old guy stats. Yeah, now I feel old too. Yeah, Davey Allison. You're very close. Yeah, you had Donnie Allison. You had the right neck of the woods there, Blake. So you're close. All right, let me do some track questions here. I saw that category come up a lot. We'll shake it up here a little bit. All righty. Aha, here we go. What track billed its 1998 October races as White Knuckle Weekend? What track billed its 1998 October races as White Knuckle Weekend? Chase Elliott's penalty was reversed. Is that correct? I don't know that, Andrew Hayes. It did seem like there wasn't any clear proof that he did anything there. But yeah. I hate super speedway racing so much, says Dale on Bar. The penalty for the number 9 passing below, yeah, Jayski says. The penalty to the number 9 for passing below the double yellow line has been rescinded. In NASCAR's judgment, the number 9 was forced below the yellow line. NASCAR has penalized the number 17 for forcing the number 9 below. I mean, right there. I mean, you talk about judgment calls. If you that is the grayest of gray areas. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe this. I mean, you know, Big Bill strung out like an entire week over a photo finish in the Daytona 500 because they didn't have enough pictures for it. That's great publicity. This is bad publicity. This is really bad. This is a mess. This is an absolute disaster. I can't believe it. And yeah, we don't even know the post-race technical inspection yet. So let's find out what we have here. The answer is indeed Talladega, by the way, for the question, White Knuckle Weekend. I always think that this should still be called that. That's why did I say that in the grid? I don't think I did in the grid video. I meant to, but yeah, I should have. That's what it would have been highly appropriate for this one, but that would be it. NASCAR accidentally penalized the 9. After consulting the 9's fan base, we've decided to retract the penalty. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, for a playoff contender, it magically goes away. Yeah, I do think that they didn't have any clear proof of it from what I saw, but I don't know. It's just why? Why? Tonight's show is brought to you by the letter Y. That's for doggone sure, I'll tell you. Yes, Talladega was indeed the answer for the live. I hope you guys enjoyed the starting grid here. I want to mention this as an aside here. The starting grid for wow, goodness, thank you so much for, again, their super chat there goes to Saltwater. We'll talk about the grid in just a moment. Penalizing the 17 is even dumber than penalizing the 9, and I say that as a Chase Elliott fan. Come dine with me in the abyss, Steve. Goodness, man, you're getting all over it here. But yeah, a real, just not a good day for NASCAR race control this week. And who knows what we're going to have. I mean, if they have anybody caught for technical infractions of all those beat-up cars. I don't think we're going to. I think they're probably going to just cut their losses at this point. I could be wrong. I'm not planning on finishing the article anytime soon because who knows what I'm going to have to change in the next 20 minutes. But that'll be kind of the situation there. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I mean, when they showed the replay that Benedetto came down and blocked up Byron, yeah, I mean, it was clear. He made contact. He forced him below the line. And I guess it's good that he didn't beat the 11 to the line because then we would have a mess in that sense too. But at the same time, Denny Hamlin went below the line too. So I guess they could – is there such a thing as offsetting penalties thing? Even the NFL has that. And as much of a trash fire as the NFL is, even they can figure out that. So, you know, I don't get why NASCAR doesn't have that, but that'll be anything like that. Oh, Logano, absolutely. He forced 2 people below the line. Are you kidding me? He was all over it. It's just I don't like gotcha rules. Gotcha rules are the worst. You know, it's the pass interference kind of rule. Oh, he pushed off. It's like, well, he didn't want the guy to catch the ball. So what the heck? You know, what's the guy's job? He's a defender. Like, okay, I mean, I don't like gotcha rules. There's rules to make things safe, and then there's rules that are just dumb. Who forced Hamlin below the line? It seemed like it was Buescher, I think, or you know, he was right in that same area. Although it seemed like Hamlin was kind of anticipating Buescher coming down and kind of went there himself. But you know, the rule doesn't distinguish that one way or the other. I don't know, just a mess, just a mess. I mean, there's any more reason for that at the same time there? Man, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much longer this show's going to go tonight, folks, but we'll see if we get anything else just completely ridiculous on this. Yeah, even Dale Jr. Well, okay, this is an old tweet from 2018. Jr. saying, clear as mud, let's get rid of the yellow line rule and both be happy. On that same note, let's get rid of the locking bumpers rule in the Xfinity series, too. That's also, you talk about another one that's a judgment call that's not enforced, you know, consistently. We didn't really see much of an issue with that yesterday, at least not from what I saw, but we have seen it in the past, especially when a lot of the Cup guys are in the field and doing it flagrantly, like, you know, a Logano or Keselowski type. But you know, that's the other part that needs to go. That needs to get thrown out at the same time. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Oh, dude, this guy got a 53 car hat from Rick Ware. That's awesome. I didn't think that's something that exists. Crazy stuff there. Here we go. What track became a cloud of dust during its first race on September 7th, 1947? Wow, yeah, we're reaching. So we've suddenly, the slope has picked up significantly. What track became a cloud of dust during its first race on September 7th, 1947? And don't look it up. Just go ahead and try to guess. Ban the train racing. I don't know if you could do that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Matt Crafton has already been vocal enough on that from the truck race the other day. So I guess there's that. Yeah, people are starting to add a counter to the number of people penalized for being thrown below the yellow line. I stand corrected. I don't think it's just been twice. Yeah, I forgot about the one with Christopher Bell. So much stuff is, you know, I just don't remember. I don't have an excuse for that. I only remember the Johnny Sauter one and then this one here. The point is, it's happened so infrequently. The number of people that have been penalized for going below the yellow line is much more. It's at least a good 10-1 at that rate. So, if not more than that. Back to the question, what track became a cloud of dust during its first race on September 7th, 1947? And the answer is Martinsville. Martinsville is your correct answer. I think somebody got that. Yes, Maserati 9, you got it. Stephen Robert, you got it sooner. There you go. Martinsville. So yeah, and now we have to add, these ridiculous questions about like, yeah, I mean, what's he supposed to do? Let the person go by? Is he supposed to, of course he's going to block. Everybody was blocking within the bounds, and it didn't have any, it didn't matter. What's it matter if they're using the apron? If you want to talk about, not using the lane, then we got to talk about Darlington. That everybody's going below the line, going, the wrong side of the line. It used to be the groove was going to be on the apron, and they just started using the higher part of the track as the banking when the cars got faster. So NASCAR is in no position to criticize that the apron is not a suitable racing surface, especially when tracks, including Talladega, have paved more and more of their infield so that people can go down there safely. But that's just another layer of frosting on this delicious cake that NASCAR has decided to serve up to everybody tonight. That's distracting from a lot of unfortunate positives race here. And they just have a mess where Denny Hamlin wins again and everybody's booing him. So, yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Hey there, Gene Steele. Welcome aboard. The pass in the grass. Exactly. That kind of thing. Alrighty. The next question. Who won the first 500-lap NASCAR Winston Cup event at Martinsville? Who won the first 500-lap NASCAR Winston Cup event at Martinsville? I know the next time I open my Twitter feed, there's going to be something else in there about, I don't know, just a fist fight or somebody settled this at the Applebee's or something, or I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, we'll see what inspection rules we get at the same time. Who won the first 500-lap NASCAR Winston Cup event at Martinsville? That is our next question. This is for Lee Petty, Richard Petty, Tim Flock, Bob Wellborn, Byron, Jimmy Spencer, Speedy Thompson. And the answer is Buck Baker. Buck Baker is our next answer. We got a few more people in here. Welcome aboard again as we continue our long descent into insanity. We just had a streak of races that all ended at night, and so our last few live streams have been either late in the evening or early morning if you're on the East Coast. And now we had a race that's like, okay, this one's going to start later in the day. It's going to start earlier in the day, and it's not going to be a big deal. And then you get all these cautions, and then it gets pushed into later in the evening, and then you get that. All right. Okay. Let's see. Next question here. Chase gets 5th. Buescher gets 22nd now, barring tech. Well, it's wonderful. Next one here. What track president was formerly a sports writer in Atlanta? What track president was formerly a sports writer in Atlanta? That is our next one. We're talking about track president. What track president was formerly a sports writer in Atlanta? Wow, David Land's having fun too. I think on that island there, he's probably got more than enough material on this too. It was just post-race technical inspection for Ty Dillon. Chase Elliott finishes 5th instead of 22nd. Buescher finishes 22nd instead of 6th. Well, don't that beat all? Gosh, what a mess. Yeah, he wasn't forced. Hamlin made the move there. That was ridiculous. It was just because it was a playoff contender. I mean, they could have taken that win away from him. He's got enough wins this year. He would have made the next round possible. And if NASCAR really wanted to do this to make a big publicity stunt, they could have done that and made him closer to the bubble and maybe tighten things up there. So it's good to know that, I mean, whether or not it was that had a factor in it, probably was, but maybe not consciously. And the answer is Jim Hunter. Jim Hunter. Is that a track president? Yeah, what track president? I thought he was just an official. Was formerly a sports writer in Alabama. Yeah, or Atlanta, excuse me. Jim Hunter was the correct answer. Yeah, I thought I skipped the question somehow. Jim Hunter, he was a NASCAR official. Was he track president? Hang on. Hang on. Jim Hunter, track president. Longtime Darlington Raceway, Jim Hunter, President Jim Hunter. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that Jim Hunter. Yeah, the same guy. Back in 2010. Okay. Yeah. Okay. He was track president. Okay. Somehow I thought he was an official, but I guess that was different. Okay. Never mind. Interesting. Get clarification on that. Yeah. No, Jim Hunter was cool. That orange hat and all that was his trademark. All righty. What driver is the largest grandstand at Bristol named after? All right. What driver is the largest grandstand at Bristol named after? By the way, the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have a slightly different look. I got some new glasses ordered here, so I'm excited about that. So these are my prescriptions from probably 2009, 2010. So, but even I could see that Hamlin went below the yellow line on that. So we'll have a little different look here in a couple weeks. So look forward to that, I suppose. That's how exciting I keep things in my life. Let's see. All righty. Guesses for Darrell Waltrip, DW, Junior Johnson, Kawicki, Shelmerdine. Let's see. Yeah, Cody Ware in the top 20. Exactly. Fantastic for him. You know, it's good to see him back out there, too, in the Cup Series. I think that was good to see. Bubba Wallace. Other guesses on here. And the answer is indeed Darrell Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip is the correct answer. All right. What do we got here? What's other? Yep. Again, gotcha rules. I mean, my goodness. Ooh, you went below the yellow line. Is it? Let me put this up to a poll for you guys out here. Was that just a California thing, or is that like just a grade school thing, no matter where you were? When like somebody was in trouble, like somebody broke a glass or said a swear word at school or something like that when you're in grade school, did people go ooh like a shifting gears? Because I remember that all the time. I don't know how much of a thing that is. I can't tell what is, especially after the ice slip thing. I can't tell what things are West Coast things and just things that are general experience anymore. Mention in the chat there. Yeah, sometimes. Okay. Yeah, happen all the time. Okay. And same in North Carolina. Okay, right on. Yeah. Oh, in Canada. Okay, maybe it's international. I didn't even think about that. This is good. I'm glad I could poll people on things like that because these are the questions that keep me up in the middle of the night. But tell you, yeah, that sound right there, that's the very definition of a gotcha rule. And those are the ones I don't like. And that's where, yeah, you get all the 12-4As like that. There you go. Ooh, yep, everybody's got that. You're going to the principal's office. Ooh, there we go. Get some more oohs in the chat. Yeah, kids are like that because they're all a-hole. Yeah, no disagreements there. Yeah. You have to develop a conscience when you get older. I think that's just what happens. What track hired young Chocolate Myers and Richard Childress to sell peanuts? That's not where that question was going, that I thought. Look at all the oohs. There you go. Somebody's in trouble. Ooh, Chris Buescher, you went below the line. Ooh. He probably shifted gears at that time, too. There needs to be a cut of that finish where it's just ooh whenever somebody comes in. What track hired young Chocolate Myers and Richard Childress to sell peanuts? Peanut sales. I thought peanuts were banned at racetracks. What kind of question is this? Can you even? I mean, you could probably get peanuts there now, but I thought that was like a long-standing thing, or maybe it's just in the pit area. What track hired young Chocolate Myers and Richard Childress to sell peanuts? Wow, both at the same track. I wonder if worked at the same time. 24 hours of ooh. Yeah, they're not allowed. That's what I thought too. Charlotte, Reese's, Madhouse, Harris Devane, Wilkesboro. Wow, we're all over the place. We're still in the middle of the ooh list. Hickory, yeah, that was a thing. I thought that was a. I've never brought peanuts to the infield at a track before. I don't remember any track. I mean, sometimes they have the tracks that serve the food. I mean, the team serving food. I don't remember them having those as snacks. They're actually big on. Some of them have like nerds ropes or things like that, like things you wouldn't kind of expect really crew members to like, but they're there. What's really cool is when they're like tied into sponsors on the cars. I think that's always fun. What track hired young Chocolate Myers and Richard Childress to sell peanuts? I have no idea. I'm gonna have to figure this out. And the answer is Bowman Gray. And wow, I put a hyphen in there. Wait, is that correct? I don't think it's supposed to be a hyphen in Bowman Gray Stadium. Isn't it without the hyphen? I should know. I wrote that in the book. I think it's without it. Bowman Gray Stadium. That's the correct answer. I wonder if they were hired at the same time or they both happened to have passed through there at some point. That would have been interesting. Maybe I don't know if they go that far back. Oh, wow. Goodness. Hang on. Somebody got it. Where was it? Somebody said Bowman Gray. Justin Hall, you said Bowman Gray. There you go. You're all over it. Right on. Sears Point. Yeah, not quite. It is hyphenated? Okay. I thought it wasn't. I thought it was somebody's name. Or is it two people's names? Alrighty. What is the, ooh, this is a good question. Ooh, there we go. Good question. What is the shortest distance NASCAR's senior division has ever run? What is the shortest distance NASCAR's senior division has ever run? Don't look it up. Just try to guess. The shortest distance. We're looking for a number. I assume in miles. For those of you international, we have a few people in Canada here, so we're going to talk about mileage here. What's the shortest distance NASCAR's senior division, so we're talking the Cup Series, has ever run? The shortest distance NASCAR senior division has ever run. I've seen some people guess laps. I guess you could do that at the same time, but it's probably going to be miles. Ooh, 50 miles. 70 miles, 100. So we put 100 with ooh in it. There, well played. Said head 2, you might have already got the point on this one. What's the shortest distance NASCAR senior division has ever run? I think it was, did that happen in Christmas Story also? When Ralphie gets in trouble? One of the many times he does in that movie. I think they do the ooh. Maybe people would be less toxic on Twitter if they just went ooh instead of actually actively trying to like destroy people's lives. That would be fun. Then then people just kind of understand if they get ratioed and there's a whole list of oohs under it. They're like, uh-oh, I might have done something wrong here. Maybe just kind of way to softball it. What's the shortest distance NASCAR senior division has ever run? Let's find out the answer. And the answer is 27 miles. Is there a decimal there? No, 27 miles. 27 miles, or the amount of overtime that we had in today's race. 30-lap race at Fairgrounds? Was that there was a race that got canceled because of dust. Was that the one? I got to pull that up because that was in 55. Let me see. I got to get the racing reference page pulled up. If you think you know which race that is, definitely let me know in the chat. Oh, man. There's only 480 comments in the Yellowwood 500 page. On the racing reference. That's disappointing. I would figure it would be at least up to 4 digits by now. It's been enough of a ridiculous. Let me look here. I need unclassified races, all-star races, all tracks. Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Where is it? Exhibition unclassified. I keep hiding this. Okay, there it is. Got it. Bottom of the second column. Yeah, 56 Grand National race number 7. Okay, that was 34 laps at a half-mile track. So that wouldn't be, I think that would be the shortest. I mean, it wasn't run to distance. So it'd be half of 34. So what, 17 miles? This one says 27. Well, that's my math is terrible. My math is usually terrible. I guess it's not that, unless they miscalculated. It's entirely possible. Shortest Grand Prix is 1991 Australian Grand Prix. There you go. Yeah, it says 17 miles. Okay, yeah, I figured it would be the 56 race. That would be the one. Yeah, race number 7. Oh, race number 37 in 1956. I thought it was 55. I stand corrected. August 4th, 1956, Tulsa Fairgrounds, the only race attempted there, ended because of dirt, excessive dust specifically. 34 of 200 laps complete. Speedy Thompson led them all. Race was not classified in the championship. And Bill Moore was not credited with his only last place finish. So there you go. 27 miles is the number that we're given here. So, yeah. Okay, that one's too easy. Okay, here we go. Next question. We'll do a few more questions here, and then we'll probably wrap up here in a little bit. Hey there, old 720 Studios. Somebody needs to make a video of today's finish and add in the ooze. Yeah, it definitely needs it. So many people getting caught here with one thing or the other. What Bama boys' last win? This is how it's written. What Bama boys' last win was the 1978 Dixie 500 in Atlanta. What Bama boys' last win was the 1978 Dixie 500 in Atlanta. Do some NASCAR questions for the mid-2000s. Unfortunately, this only goes up to the late 90s, so we're kind of limited here. I can just suggest something off the top of my head, but that would be wouldn't be able to verify that in the little device here. Yeah, Gene Steele, I see your comments there, but this only goes up to the late 90s, so we're gonna have to get in the time machine and get off a little bit earlier here and think in the late 90s frame of mind here. By the way, was I the only one that remember that Nissan commercial I mentioned earlier when they played was Van Halen there for that one? By the way, music choices were great going into commercials. That seemed to help a lot. I remember that. I can't hear that music and not think of the one where G.I. Joe picks up Barbie in the commercial. I think that was just hilarious. Donnie, the answer is indeed Donnie Allison is indeed the correct answer. Looks like you guys all got it there. There you go. You got it right off the bat. One-head Bobby there. You make a quiz for that for us? Oh yeah, absolutely. I could absolutely make a quiz for you. I did that. We did that with the Lascar stats, but I think it stumped people too much because it was just way too obscure. I'd have to refine that a little bit. Just have my stats pages pulled up and see if I could do something like that. We'll look into something like that further down the line. I'm sure if we start repeating questions on this, that'll be a point where we'll have to regroup and try something different. Because I do like to keep this as part of the show, and we'll look into that further down the line. Was it 5 o'clock Pacific? Okay. We'll do this a little while longer here. What year did David Pearson win his first Daytona 500? What year did David Pearson win his first Daytona 500? What year did David Pearson win his first Daytona 500? Yeah, last place finish especially. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's I don't want it's not fun if I make it too hard or make it like just ridiculous. Like I mean, I'm not interested in doing that. But we'll try something. You know, I'm sure we can find a middle ground here. I'm not saying these are 1,000 IQ questions. Not at all. There's a lot of stuff I missed. Like again, people being forced below the yellow line. I don't remember that nearly as much as you know, who finished last in those races. Especially Christopher Bell, where he finished last when we were covering the race at Fontana. That was the most recent time he did, and it was in the exact same paint scheme. So you had that. What year did David Pearson win his first Daytona 500? And the answer is indeed 1976. You guys got it. 1976 is correct. All right. Check this here. Kind of multitasking here a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think they only won it the once. It's kind of surprising. Oh, we have people. The number of people in the chat jump up. Did something else happen? we get something else happen. Did somebody else get disqualified or something? Now, I've seen everybody already post the Denny Hamlin articles. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Everybody's. Oh goodness. Everybody's unloading. Everybody. I think we've reached critical mass. Oh man, I can't wait for Kamikaze Games video on this too. You better do one. I know he doesn't like doing like NASCAR videos lately, but they really are entertaining. It's not too hard to point the camera here and jump on that. The old 720, the old Lascar book available in physical book form? Not yet. I might examine that. The reason I haven't done that is because it would have to be updated each year. I guess you can have one that's like maybe I'm just thinking about what would be a good option. Like I could just make maybe put it in the Patreon or something, and then have like the updated versions just be like a PDF you can download and add to it. I might do that. I mean, I'll see if there's any interest. If there's a lot of interest in that, definitely let me know, and we can do something like that. If you're looking for something on your shelf, I can certainly edit it there and do that. I think I have had some issues uploading new versions because I've been re-uploading it on there, and apparently it's not working on Amazon for some reason. So we'll have to examine something there and maybe an option to make that a little more accessible for everyone. Because I do enjoy updating those. Yeah, that would be something like that. Alrighty. What southern track was once the site of a World War II Air Force base? What southern track was once the site of a World War II Air Force base is the next question. Oh, Gene Steele, you're 1 in the morning. My goodness. I didn't realize we had that much of an international following. Well, welcome aboard here. I hope this is either helping you get some rest or being a break. Dega, ooh. Airbase Speedway, Riverside. Yep, all the fun stuff here. And maybe do a 20th century copy, maybe. I mean, I'm thinking of maybe like merging the Cup one with the Xfinity and trucks and just making it one book to update. That would make it a lot easier. The Formula one gets a surprising amount of downloads, which I didn't think it would, because the site itself that I had the stats made for had literally no clicks, like none. And this wasn't even something I did at the start. This is like 2012. So that's why I don't really expand in other series that much. We've done some IndyCar coverage, but it's not the main focus of the site. I still hold out, the option of doing that one of these times, but it's just not my expertise. So we'll see. Yeah, sports car. I mean, again, I don't own last place. I get questions like this all the time. It's like, can I do last place of another series? Like, absolutely, dude. If you guys want to do that, for sure. I don't own people finishing at the back of the pack. Like that's your own prerogative. That's a-okay. I'm flattered that you asked, but it's not it's a-okay, because I know there's other people that do different coverage there. The answer is indeed Talladega, the race you just watched on an Air Force base. I wonder if the runways probably had yellow lines on them too. I didn't count on wearing the yellow shirt and the yellow couch and having the yellow line be the theme. But I wish I could say that was intentional, but it absolutely wasn't. This is definitely the yellowest shirt that I own. So, ooh, you're gonna make me do it again. It's gonna be just like the E-meme thing again. I'm just gonna crack up whenever I see that. But we're gonna build up some lore here for these live streams from one to the other, and then people are gonna come in here and wonder what the heck is going on and why all these numbers and letters are coming up. But that would be part of it. Talladega, yep, can't spell without the E. Alrighty. What driver has won the most Daytona 500 qualifying races as of the late 90s? What driver has won the most Daytona 500 qualifying races? Yeah, Indian burial ground and a military base. Property is a bundle of sticks. It can be any number of things. Earnhardt, Bubba Wallace, Baker, Big E, and you guys got it. Of course, it is the man in black himself, Dale Earnhardt. Correct. Okay, we'll do a few more. We'll probably wrap up here in a little bit, unless NASCAR decides to do anything else spectacularly ridiculous here to just outdo themselves tonight. Oh man, that tweet got a lot more attention than I thought it was going to. Oh man, people are just shaking their heads. Oh, got to read this from Cody Ware. I'm going to retweet this here. The Rick Ware Racing Gang, Hillman and the whole 27 crew, Tyler Mon keeping me out of trouble up top. Just so thankful to everyone who made getting back in the Cup car a fantastic experience. Great, good for Cody Ware. Good for him. A lot of these teams drive for these small teams. They don't get a lot of props out there for what they can do and everything. And we saw a lot of that today with guys competing up there. So that was good too. Certainly good to see. Alrighty. Joey Logano. Ooh. Okay. Why does NASCAR say Matty D finished 16th? What? Okay, no, they didn't. Yeah, it's just Kansas. Don't fool me on this. I'm gonna be opening my phone in the middle of the night here, man. I gotta do that. 21st. Okay. Couple more questions here. We'll do it. We'll wrap up in the tracks category here. Who has won poles in 3 different classes of stock car events held at Charlotte? Who has won poles in 3 different classes of stock car events held at Charlotte? Who has won poles in 3 different classes of stock car events held at Charlotte? 3 different classes. All right. Who has won poles in 3 different classes of stock car events held at Charlotte? Who has won poles in 3 different classes of stock car events held at Charlotte? No. Wait. No. No. Who has won? Yeah, let me make sure I read this question correctly. This is a weird one, folks. Who has won poles in 3 different classes of stock car events held at Charlotte? And the answer is Ward Burton. Ward Burton, by the late 90s, had won poles in 3 different divisions of racing. Now, tricky. So I guess the Truck Series hadn't run Charlotte by that point, I don't think. And even then, I don't think Ward ran a lot of truck races. So I guess it would be Cup, Busch Series, and ARCA, I suppose. Ward Burton, yeah. Ward Burton. He talks like my handwriting. It just laces together. I like Ward Burton. I miss Ward. I would love to have Ward Burton and Sterling Marlin be in the broadcast booth. I think it would be a lot more entertaining. Caterpillar, skid steer loader. Ward Burton. Always good to talk about Ward. Always good. Love the Caterpillar car, especially as a Dodge. It looked sharp. It was really nice looking. Yeah, skid steer loader. Skid steer. All right, now I've just angered an entire region, I'm sure. Everybody down there is going, ooh. Okay. How long is the road course at Las Vegas Motor Speedway? What? Let me read that again. How long is the road course at Las Vegas Motor Speedway? This thing anticipated Rovals. I think this question wasn't supposed to come up till next week. Old 720, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the channel. Next episode of Rise of the Field Fillers is on its way. Don't have a release date yet. That'll be revealed on the Patreon. Patreon already has announced what the next episode's going to be on. So if you want to check that out at any level, we'll have access to that. How long is the road course at Las Vegas Motor Speedway? Don't look it up. I guess it's 6.9 miles. Drag strip, yeah, no kidding. 1 full lap, 2.122, 1.31. Yeah, I know Marlin's dealing with a lot of stuff, and certainly, yeah, Cup Busch of the Sportsman Division. Wow, okay. Now there you go. That's surprising. Oh, the stream froze? Uh-oh. Did we lose me? Here, go ahead and hit refresh in there and see. Oh, I can still see you guys on here. Looks like the numbers have dropped off. Uh-oh. Still. Okay, we still back up? Okay. We're back up. We're back up? Okay. I was about to tell you guys to hit the refresh button. Anybody that's not working, here, I'll put it in here. Hit the refresh if the stream is frozen. See, I know, yeah. Locked. There we go. Yes, Las Vegas answer is 2.5 miles. That's the answer here. I still have it on the screen, actually. 2.5 miles. I think even the stream is, I think everybody else is streaming about this too. That's probably why everything is locking up. So we're gonna lock it up at that point here before anything gets tied up here again. But we're back now. Are we still good on here? We're still on it? Okay, we're good on here. Okay, good. We got a few people in here. I know people are starting to filter in here, but we'll probably go ahead and wrap up the live stream here for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and listening to my ramblings on this. It's going to be a very interesting few days in NASCAR. And I don't know if we're going to do a midweek stream. Probably not, unless NASCAR decides to do something else that's going to be worthy of that. Otherwise, our next show will be after the Roval next Sunday when we find out who doesn't make the round of 8. And I'm sure that that's going to go over without a hitch, and the best drivers are going to win and get on to the next round. And no, it's going to be a complete mess. And it's going to be interesting. But we'll be here to certainly pick up the pieces. Definitely want to again offer my condolences over to Joe Gibbs Racing and the passing of JJ D'Amato. It was nice that they had the tributes not only on the Gibbs cars but then the other teams at the same time. It's certainly a lot going on there. I know the Gibbs team has been able to deal with that there too. And just want to say also we're definitely pulling for the president and his wife as well. I know that he's been getting back from the hospital there as well. I don't want to make this a political channel or anything like that, far from it. But obviously, everybody's been dealing with what's been going on in the world and everything. And, you certainly wish everybody the best in that sense. And, of course, that extends to every one of you out there as well. If anybody else is, still dealing with everything out there, I hope that in these shows I can bring you a little bit of entertainment and forget about things for a little while here, and certainly look to keep doing that in the weeks ahead. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful evening, everyone. Have a safe week. I hope to see you guys here again next week to talk about the action over at the Roval, and we'll see what happens from there. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in, and remember, folks, last happens.